For my mobile phone, nothing is sweet me past my 945. My 945. As you see me so, I dare full control with my 945. My 945. I dey recharge my phone, they check my account. I dey wire money, I dey pay my bills. I know they worry myself go queue for bank. With 945, everything done sempe. Whether na credit abi you wanna put account. With 945, everything done sempe. If you want collect money, or you want transfer money. With 945, everything done sempe.
The 945 way of life offers convenient banking at your fingertips. Just dial *945# now to get started. Wema Bank, with you all the way.
For my mobile phone, nothing is sweet me past my 945. My 945. As you see me so, I dare full control with my 945. My 945. I dey recharge my phone, they check my account. I dey wire money, I dey pay my bills. I know they worry myself go queue for bank. With 945, everything done sempe. Whether na credit abi you wanna put account. With 945, everything done sempe. If you want collect money, or you want transfer money. With 945, everything done sempe.
The 945 way of life offers convenient banking at your fingertips. Just dial *945# now to get started. Wema Bank, with you all the way.
Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for buy tech?
Definitely.
Alright, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the future of banking. Alert, simple, reliable, and convenient. A smarter way to bank. Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for buy tech?
Definitely.
Alright, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the future of banking. A lot. Simple, reliable, and convenient. A smarter way to bank. Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for buy tech?
Definitely.
All right, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
For my mobile phone, nothing is sweet me past my 945. My 945. As you see me so, I get full control with my 945. My 945. I dey recharge my phone, dey check my account, I dey wire money, I dey pay my bills. I know they worry myself go queue for bank. With 945, everything done sempe. Whether na credit abi you wan open account. With 945, everything done sempe. If you wan collect money, or you wan transfer money. With 945, everything done sempe.
The 945 way of life offers convenient banking at your fingertips. Just dial star 945 # now to get started. Wema Bank, with you all the way.
Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for buy tech?
Definitely.
All right, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the future of banking. Alert. Simple, reliable, and convenient. A smarter way to bank.
By the way, did I tell you about the 3 interesting customers I had today? The first to lighten up my day was this brilliant little girl. She reminded me of this young man who came in, determined for his sport. Just made me know he is going to be great. My last customer continues to uplift herself. It really is admirable. Perfect fit.
What have you been talking about since morning?
Don't you get it?
I'm here all the way.
Sometimes you want something so bad. You work at it and it just feels like it isn't working. What I have found out is the harder you work, the better chance you have at getting what it is you want. I remember longing for the days I could afford my essentials. I mean, I wanted luxury, but my essentials were priority. Patience, I have figured, goes a long way, even when it doesn't seem like it's for you.
From sundown to sundown, we go work the work together, yeah. 'Cause I'm always on time,
But as they say, good things come to those who wait. Right now, there's nothing that can stop me from being the best. I have worked hard. I have waited. I have my essentials. The world is mine.
For my mobile phone, nothing is sweet me past my 945. My 945. As you see me so, I get full control with my 945. My 945. I dey recharge my phone, they check my account. I dey wear money, I dey pay my bills. I know they worry myself go queue for bank. With 945, everything done sempe. Whether na credit abi you wan open account, with 945, everything done sempe. If you want collect money,
945 Way of Life offers convenient banking at your fingertips. Just dial star 945 # now to get started. Wema Bank, with you all the way.
Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for Tech.
Definitely.
All right, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the future of banking. Alert, simple, reliable, and convenient. A smarter way to bank.
By the way, did I tell you about the 3 interesting customers I had today? The first to lighten up my day was this brilliant little girl. She reminded me of this young man who came in, determined for his sport. Just made me know he is going to be great. My last customer continues to uplift herself. It really is admirable. Perfect fit.
What have you been talking about since morning?
Don't you get it?
I'm here, all the way.
Sometimes you want something so bad, you work at it, and it just feels like it isn't working. What I have found out is the harder you work, the better chance you have at getting what it is you want. I remember longing for the days I could afford my essentials. I mean, I wanted luxury, but my essentials were priority. Patience, I have figured, goes a long way, even when it doesn't seem like it's for you.
From sundown to sundown, we go work together, yeah. 'Cause I'm always on timetable.
But as they say, good things come to those who wait. Right now, there's nothing that can stop me from being the best. I have worked hard. I have waited. I have my essentials. The world is mine.
For my mobile phone, nothing is sweet me past my 945. 945, I dey recharge my phone, dey check my account, I dey wire money, I dey pay my bills, I no dey worry myself go queue for bank, with 945, everything don sempe. Whether na credit abi you wan open account, with 945, everything don sempe. If you wan collect money, or you wan transfer money, with 945, everything don sempe.
The 945 way of life offers convenient banking at your fingertips. Just dial star 945 # now to get started. Wema Bank, with you all the way.
Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for buy tech.
Definitely.
All right, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the future of banking. Alert, simple, reliable, and convenient. A smarter way to bank.
By the way, did I tell you about the 3 interesting customers I had today? The first to lighten up my day was this brilliant little girl. She reminded me of this young man who came in, determined for his sport. Just made me know he is going to be great. My last customer continues to uplift herself. It really is admirable. Perfect fit.
What have you been talking about since morning?
Don't you get it?
I'm here all the way.
Sometimes you want something so bad, you work at it, and it just feels like it isn't working. What I have found out is the harder you work, the better chance you have at getting what it is you want. I remember longing for the days I could afford my essentials. I mean, I wanted luxury, but my essentials were priority. Patience, I have figured, goes a long way, even when it doesn't seem like it's for you.
From sundown to sundown, we go work together, yeah. 'Cause I'm always on time, yeah.
But as they say, good things come to those who wait. Right now, there's nothing that can stop me from being the best. I have worked hard. I have waited. I have my essentials. The world is mine.
my mobile phone, nothing they sweep me past my 945. My 945. As you see me so, I dey full control with my 945. My 945. I dey recharge my phone, they check my account. I dey wire money, I dey pay my bills. I know they worry myself go queue for bank. With 945, everything done sempe. When I na credit, I be you want open account. With 945, everything done sempe. If you want collect money, or you want transfer money, with 945, everything done sempe.
The 945 way of life offers convenient banking at your fingertips. Just dial star 945 # now to get started. Wema Bank, with you all the way.
Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for buy tech.
Definitely.
All right, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the future of banking. Alert, simple, reliable, and convenient. A smarter way to bank.
By the way, did I tell you about the 3 interesting customers I had today? The first to lighten up my day was this brilliant little girl. She reminded me of this young man who came in, determined for his sport. Just made me know he is going to be great. My last customer continues to uplift herself. It really is admirable. Perfect fit.
What have you been talking about since morning?
Can't you get it?
I'm here, all the way.
Sometimes you want something so bad, you work at it, and it just feels like it isn't working. What I have found out is the harder you work, the better chance you have at getting what it is you want. I remember longing for the days I could afford my essentials. I mean, I wanted luxury, but my essentials were priority. Patience, I have figured, goes a long way, even when it doesn't seem like it's for you.
From sundown to sundown, we go work together, yeah. 'Cause I'm always on time, people.
But as they say, good things come to those who wait. Right now, there's nothing that can stop me from being the best. I have worked hard. I have waited. I have my essentials. The world is mine.
Money, I dey pay my bills, I know they worry myself, go queue for bank, with 945, everything done sempe. Whether na credit, abi you wan open account, with 945, everything done sempe. If you want collect money, or you want transfer money, with 945, everything done sempe.
The 945 way of life offers convenient banking at your fingertips. Just dial star 945 # now to get started. Wema Bank, with you all the way.
Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for.
Could we have the national anthem, please? Thank you very much. I will distinguish ladies and gentlemen. Oh, thank you very much, ma'am. I welcome you all to this annual general meeting of our bank, Wema Bank PLC, holding here in Wema Towers, 54 Marina, Lagos. I now declare the meeting open and have the pleasure of calling on Mr. Matthew Akilade to lead us in open prayer. Mr. Akilade, please.
Please let us stand up to honor God. Oh Lord, our great and wonderful God, we thank you for the life of our company, Wema Bank Nigeria PLC, the board of directors, the management and staff. We thank you for the shareholders, for bringing all of us here safely today. May honor, praises, glory, and adoration be yours forever and ever in Jesus' mighty name. Oh Lord, we invite you to this meeting. We beseech thee, inspire our chairman to conduct this meeting successfully to your glory in Jesus' mighty name. Oh Lord, our company is making success, is moving up. Oh Lord, take it to the highest level possible in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. All the wherewithal to make this company great, grant it to the board and management in Jesus' mighty name. And when we will be leaving here to go to our respective homes, oh Lord, be with us and take home safely in Jesus' mighty name. All these and more blessing we ask for in Jesus' mighty name.
Be seated, please. Thank you, Mr. Akilade. I think at this time, what we can just do is pray and pray. Distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to especially thank you for the sacrifice you have made in attending this meeting, despite the current limitations posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, which we believe, hopefully with the prayer, will disappear sooner than later. I would also like to thank our regulators for the special privilege granted us to hold this meeting under the prevailing circumstances. The annual general meeting is still being held by proxy in line with the approval of Corporate Affairs Commission and the guidelines on holding of annual general meetings of public companies using proxies, which were subsequently adopted and issued by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Voting at this AGM shall be by poll. The AGM is being streamed live for our shareholders and regulators who cannot join us physically, and I hope that you'll be able to connect to live stream to follow the proceedings. I would like to call on the registrar represented by Ms. Anne Mutua to report on the proxies received for the meeting, the number of shares they represent, the percentage of shareholding, and to confirm that the necessary quorum for this meeting has been met.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, board members, and esteemed shareholders. I confirm as follows. The number of shareholders attending in person currently at start of the meeting, 3. Number of valid proxies is 250 proxies. Percentage of share capital present in person or by proxy is 22,432,050,207 units. This represents 58.15% of the issued share capital of the company. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to announce to the shareholders, our distinguished shareholders, that since our last AGM, the board composition has changed slightly. Details of the changes are contained in page 3 of the annual report and accounts. Your humble servant, myself, Babatunde Kasali, as your non-executive chairman, which I'm introducing to you today. On my left is Mr. Ademola Adebise, the Managing Director, CEO. On my immediate right is Mr. Johnson Debele, the Company Secretary. I would also like to introduce a non-executive director who is here present in person in the name of Mr. Abubakar Lawal. In line with the approval received from the Corporate Affairs Commission for attendance of the meeting by proxy, the other directors have appointed me, being the non-executive chairman of the board, as their proxy to represent them at the meeting. They are Mr. Moruf Hosseini, the Deputy Managing Director, Mr. Wale Akileye, Executive Director, Mr. Oluwale Jemisimi, Executive Director, Mr. Emeka Obiagu, Executive Director, Mrs. Bolanle Mateloko, Non-Executive Director, Mrs. Omobo Sola Ojo, Independent Non-Executive Director, and Mrs. Ibiye Ekong, Independent Non-Executive Director. I would like to inform you that Mr. Adebode Adefioye and Mr. Samaduro Jaye, who were both non-executive directors, have recently retired meritoriously from this board. I would like to thank them on your behalf and wish them well in their future endeavor. On the same vein, I would like to introduce representatives of our regulators who are these at the general meeting, either physically or virtually. The Nigerian Stock Exchange is physically represented Mr. Gostime Iwenekai. Welcome, Mr. Iwenekai. I think we are becoming a member of my family. I'll see you more often. I can even recognize you without even mentioning your name. You're welcome, sir. And of course, the regulator of all regulators, my primary regulator with the Central Bank of Nigeria, represented by Mrs. Ebele Obano, who is well known to me as well. You're welcome, ma'am. The Security and Exchange Commission is physically represented by Mr. Obina. Mr. Obina, you're welcome, sir. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance is virtually represented by Mr. Michael Odele and Mr. Umar Iwogaji, attending physically. Is Mr. Iwogaji here? The Corporate Affairs Commission has informed us that they will not be sending any representative. The Bank Registrar, Greenwich Registrars and Data Solutions, physically represented by earlier introduced Ms. Anne Mutua. Thank you. The bank's external auditors, Deloitte and Touche, represented by my good colleagues, former colleagues, Mr. Michael Oshiloye and Mr. Michael Daudu. You are both welcome, please. The bank board performance evaluation consultant. I think I have too many families in this room now. Is it represented by another member of my constituency, former constituency? KPMG Advisory Services, in the person of Mrs. Tomi Adepoju. You are welcome to. Right. The shareholder representatives in the bank's audit committee are also present at this meeting. The Prince Adekule Olodu, chairman of the audit committee, is physically present at this meeting. Mr. Kashimawo Taiwo, virtually, and Mr. Bonajo Anosike have joined this meeting virtually. The last but not the least, I would like to introduce our distinguished shareholders who are physically present at this meeting. They are Mr. Emeritus Matthew Akilade, Mr. Atule Badmos, welcome, sir. And Barrister Mrs. Ganiat Shiobola, nice to welcome her. And I walked in with Elijah Kudaisi. She's here. I saw her this morning. You're welcome, ma. And I think Mr. Eric Akintude is here physically present. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. There are 10 major items of business on the agenda before you today. I would like to explain that for all the items except item 4, which will be handled by the Managing Director, I will move the motions, while members present will have an opportunity to second each motion put to the meeting before a vote is taken on them. Yes, sir. I will definitely do more than that, sir. I saw you when you came in. I was surprised. My apologies, sir. Yeah? Oh, Chief Olatunde Okelano. Not in. I know. Apologies, sir. There are 10 major items of business agenda, which I would like to explain that all the items except item 4, which will be handled by the managing director. I will move the motions. While members present will have an opportunity to second each motion put to the meeting before a vote is taken on them. I will give an opportunity for questions on the financial statement to be presented to you. Answers will also be provided to questions by the managing director or as if deemed appropriate by me before we proceed to the next item on the agenda. May I inform all present that the roving microphones, I believe, are available for use. When called to speak, the usher will hand you a microphone. I will humbly request you to speak clearly into the microphone, starting by stating your name. I would like to inform members that the registrar of shareholders is available for inspection during this meeting. In accordance with section 284 subsection 2 of Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the record of directors' attendance at meetings is available for inspection during this meeting, and it can be found on pages 5 to 10 of the annual report. I will now call on the company secretary to read the notice convening the annual general meeting contained on page 14 of the annual report.
Distinguished shareholders, notice is hereby given that the 2020 annual general meeting of Wema Bank PLC will be held at the 5th floor Wema Tower, 54 Marina, Lagos, on Tuesday, 2021 at 11 a.m. to transact the following business. Ordinary business, number 1, to lay before the meeting the audited financial statement for the year ended December 31, 2020, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and the statutory audit committee thereon. Item number 2, to declare a dividend. Item 3, to elect and approve the appointment of the following directors: Mr. Oluwole Ajimisimi, Executive Director; Mr. Chukwuemeka Obiagu, Executive Director; Mrs. Ibiye Ekong, Independent Non-Executive Director. Item 4, to re-elect the following directors retiring by rotation. Number 1, Mr. Abubakar Lawal, Non-Independent Director; Mr. Babatunde Kasali, Non-Independent Director. Item number 5, to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. Item number 6, to appoint KPMG Professional Services as the external auditors of the bank in place of Deloitte and Touch, who will be retiring at the conclusion of this annual general meeting. Item 5, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. Item 8, to elect members of the statutory audit committee. The special business requiring ordinary resolutions. Item 9, to approve the remuneration of directors. Item 10, to consider and, if thought fit, pass the following resolutions as ordinary resolutions. A, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to consider and recommend as appropriate steps to enable the bank to undertake a reconstruction of its capital and to raise additional capital subject to the approval of relevant regulatory authorities to position the bank for future growth. And that the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint, in relation to the above resolution, such professional parties and advisors as to perform all such other acts and do all such other things as may be necessary to give effect to the above resolution, including without limitation, complying with the directives of regulatory authorities. Dated the 30th day of April 2021, by order of the board, signed Johnson Lebile, Company Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Company Secretary. I will now declare the meeting duly convened and properly constituted. The chairman's statement can be found on pages 48 to 52 of the annual report. I hereby seek your permission that the chairman's statement be taken as read, if you so wish. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We now move to the formal business of this meeting. Each of you will have received copies of the accounts of the bank and the annual report of the directors thereon, either in CD format or in print version or both. With your permission, I would like to take them as read. The independent auditor's report is found on pages 77 to 80 of the annual report, always circulated to shareholders. It's my pleasure to call on Mr. Michael Shiloe, representing the bank's statutory auditor, Deloitte and Touche, to read the auditor's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, distinguished members, shareholders, and regulatory here present. With your permission, Mr. Chairman and the shareholders, may I crave your indulgence to read the first paragraph and the last paragraph of the report.
I think it's not the chairman, it's the shareholders.
Shareholders, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Independent Auditor's Report to the members of Wema Bank PLC. Report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statement. Opinion. We have audited the consolidated and separate financial statement of Wema Bank PLC and its subsidiary, the group and the company, set out on pages 82 to 179, which comprise the consolidated and separate statement of financial position as at 31 December 2020, and the consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity, and the consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the consolidated and separate financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the consolidated and separate financial statement give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of Wema Bank PLC as at 31 December 2020, and its consolidated and separate financial performance and consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, that's IFRS, the requirement of Company and Allied Matter Acts, that's CAMA, Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, CAB 3, Law of Federation of Nigeria of 2004, and Financial Reporting Council Act of 2011. Then the last paragraph on page 80. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the 6th Schedule of Companies and Allied Matter Act, CAB C20, Law of Federation of Nigeria of 2004, we expressly state as follows. 1. We have obtained all the information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2. The group has kept proper books of accounts so far as appears from our examination of those books. 3. The group and the company's financial position and the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts and returns. The banks has complied with the requirement of the relevant circulars issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria. In accordance with Circular BSD/1 of 2004, issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the details of insider-related credits as disclosed in Note 32 to the financial statement. During the year, the bank contravened certain sections of BOFIA and CBN circulars guidelines. The details of the contravention and the related penalty as disclosed in Note 33 to the financial statement. Signed by my humble self for and on behalf of Deloitte & Touche, Chartered Accountant, Lagos, Nigeria, and dated 26th of April 2021. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Oshiloye. Thank you, shareholders. May I now call on Prince Adekunle Olodun, the chairman of the Statutory Audit Committee, to present the report of the Audit Committee, please. Thank you.
Chairman, members of the board, distinguished shareholders, regulatory authority present, good morning. The report of the Audit Committee is on page 73. Report of the Audit Committee to members of Wema Bank PLC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 404, subsection 7 of Companies and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria, the members of Audit Committee of Wema Bank PLC hereby report as follows. 1. We have exercised our statutory functions under Section 404, subsection 7 of the Company and Allied Matters Act of Nigeria, and acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of these responsibilities. 2. We are of the opinion that the accounting and reporting policies of the group are in agreement with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices, and that the scope and planning of both external and internal audits for the year ended 31st December 2020 were satisfactory and reinforce the group's internal control system. We are satisfied that the bank has complied with the provision of CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria Circular BSD/1/2004 and dated 18th February 2004 on disclosure of inside-related credits in the financial statement of banks. We hereby confirm that an aggregate amount of 2.82 billion 31st December 2019 and 5.275 billion was outstanding as at 31st December 2020, of which nil. 31st December 2019, nil, was non-performing. 4. We have deliberated on the findings of the external auditors who have confirmed the necessary cooperation was received from management in the course of the statutory audit, and we are satisfied with management's responses thereon and with the effectiveness of the group's system of accounting and internal control. Signed by my humble self, Prince Adekunle Olodun, on the 3rd of March 2021. Other members of the Audit Committee who are watching virtually: Mr. Anosike Joe Ogbonna, Mr. Kashimawu Akonjitayo, Mr. Samuel Durujaye, Mr. Adebode Adefioye, and Mr. Mr. Abubakar Lawal, and Mr. Johnson Elebile Sain acted as secretary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prince Olodun. I would like to proceed to the next item, which is the board performance evaluation. The Central Bank of Nigeria Mandatory Code of Corporate Governance, the Securities and Exchange Commission Code of Corporate Governance, and the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance provide that there shall be a board appraiser covering all aspects of the board structure and composition, responsibilities, processes, and relationships, as well as individual members, competencies, and respective roles in the board's performance. The codes further provide that the review should be conducted by an external consultant and that the reports of the review should be presented to shareholders at the annual general meeting. In line with the provisions of the code, the board appointed the firm of KPMG Advisory Services to carry out this review. May I therefore call on Mrs. Tomi Adepoju of KPMG Advisory Services to present the report to the annual general meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, and distinguished shareholders. I now present the report of the independent consultants to the Board of Directors of Wema Bank PLC on their appraisal for the year ended 31st December 2020. In compliance with the guidelines of Section 2.8.3 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Revised Code of Corporate Governance for Banks in Nigeria Post-Consolidation, the Securities and Exchange Commission Code of Corporate Governance Guidelines, as well as Sections 14 and 15 of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, Wema Bank PLC engaged KPMG Advisory Services to carry out an appraisal of the Board of Directors for the year ended 31st December 2020. The NCCG Code, the SEC Guidelines, and the CBN Code mandates the Board of Directors to carry out a formal and rigorous evaluation of its own performance, that of its committees, the chairman and individual directors, as well as of the annual corporate governance evaluation to ascertain the extent of application of the codes of corporate governance. We have performed the procedures agreed with Wema Bank in respect of the appraisal of the board and the evaluation of its compliance with the corporate governance requirements in accordance with the provisions of these codes. These procedures, which are limited in scope but sufficient for the bank's objectives in line with the codes, are different in scope from an external audit. Consequently, no opinion is expressed by us on the activities reported thereon. Our approach to the appraisal of the board and evaluation of the board's governance practices involved a review of the bank's board papers, minutes of meetings, key corporate governance structures, policies and practices, as well as the bank's compliance with applicable codes and guidelines of corporate governance. This included the review of the corporate governance framework and representations obtained from questionnaires, interviews with the members of the board and senior management. On the basis of our review, the bank's corporate governance practices are largely in compliance with the key provisions of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance, the SEC Guidelines, and the CBN Code. Specific recommendations for further improving the bank's governance practices have been articulated and included in our detailed reports to the board. These include recommendations on the continuous oversight of regulatory limits. This report was dated 8th of March 2021 and was signed by me, Tomi Adepoju, partner at KPMG Advisory Services.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Adepoju. We have now come to the first item on the agenda for today, which is to lay before this meeting the group's audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2020 and the reports of the directors, auditors, and the audit committee thereon. I now formally present and lay before you the bank's audited financial statement as at 31st December 2020 and the reports of the directors, auditors, and the audit committee thereon, which have been sent to all shareholders as required by Section 388, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. I shall be pleased to answer any questions which you may have on the report and accounts before we proceed to the next business on the agenda. It will assist if you refer to the page of the report and accounts to which your question relates. And please, we humbly request that questions to one of the opportunities for other members or shareholders to be able to ask questions. At this juncture, I will ask, are there any questions? Can I humbly start with Alaja Kudaisi, please? Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, distinguished shareholders present here this morning. My name is Elijah Ayodele Kudaisi of Independent Shareholders Association of Nigeria. I stand in for Sasone Wosu. Mr. Chairman, I want to start my comment on a lighter note. Looking at the cover of our annual account, sir, I want to be educated. There is a crystal ball with a lot of symbols and signs that are printed on the ball. Is this ball meant to send a message? And if it is yes, what is the message being sent? Mr. Chairman, I equally want to appreciate your gender sensitivity. I want to appreciate the bank's gender sensitivity on the board level. Thank you. But we could do more by bringing in 1 or 2 more women folk into the circle. Yes. Mr. Chairman, on page 25, this Sarah, a product of ours called Sarah and the Woman Empowerment, I want to talk on it. I want to ask, is it as simple as stated on the annual account for beneficiary to come on board and enjoy these facilities? Because sometimes they relate all these things on the annual account, but when it comes to implementation, there will be some frustrating blocks that will be placed on the part of the beneficiary. Is it that simple as stated? If it is, I will appreciate that, and I will appreciate the board for the product. On pages 18, 19, 20, and 21 of the annual account, which deals with our social corporate responsibility to our immediate environment and far. Even where we collaborate with the government and other private business entities, I must say I'm encouraged to say kudos to the board and management. Please keep it up. Mr. Chairman, let me go to the account proper. Mr. Chairman, I want to start on there was on page 288 and 118 of the annual account, where we have the interest expense and net interest income. Mr. Chairman, we noted the improvements on the control of interest expense, which decreased down to 33.70. The impact on the net interest income was marginal, as it increased only by 4.87, which is 18.75%. So, Mr. Chairman, we urge a sit-up on this income component and factor for improved performance. On page on page 88 and 118, we observe with concern the colossal collapse in this income line, which declined to 10.85 billion from 14.79 billion. Mr. Chairman, why the general poor performance in all the items of trading income? I would like to have some explanation as to that. Mr. Chairman, again on pages 88 and 119, there's increase by, this increase, that's the impairment, the net impairment loss on financial assets. So this increased by 8%. It was down by 0.49 billion. Mr. Chairman, as a result of significant increase in this, impairment on loan advances, impairment on investment security and treasury bill, We require further explanation, sir, just to have some clearance and clarity on all this. Then it is good to note that the management continue to pursue delinquent loans as which is 529.85 million, which was recovered for the year 2020 from the previous figure of 920. Mr. Chairman, I want us to continue to actually make sure we recover more of this. To come back to the coffers of the bank, we need more concerted effort in this regard. Mr. Chairman, profit for the year, the profit for the year was declined marginally. We need to work and improve on this, Mr. Chairman. Then on page 89 and 122, fair value through other comprehensive income. Mr. Chairman, this increased by 3,000% from the previous figure that we have. And this look good, but call for caution in the light of its volatility. We also observe a huge collapse in fair value through profit and loss, which decline. We need further explanation on this, Mr. Chairman. Loan and advances to customers. Mr. Chairman, this increased, and this is good for this. Since this is the basic business that we do, I think we should not relent. We should march on all these aspects of our business. And Mr. Chairman, on declaration of dividends, I want to appreciate you for the 4 kobo that you are giving us today. Mr. Chairman, on this, we have this fraud and forgery on page 55. And what is this, our alert platform, doing to assist us in reducing this? Knowing fully well that most of these fraud were even perpetrated internally. So how has the alert platform been able to help us to reduce this? And finally, Mr. Chairman, I want to appeal to our regulators. Knowing fully well how difficult it is to operate business in Nigeria, they should actually be in a position to assist the remaining businesses that are quoted in our capital markets, not to actually be frustrating them sort of by enforcing some compulsory deposit to our apex regulators. And this money that are being enforced as deposit, no interest was being paid on them. It's just a money just kept down for nothing. It is not good enough for the business. A lot of business have folded up. Our regulators should please have a rethink on all these things. It is very, very important. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much. I will come on this side, please. Could I have Chief Okelano, please? I would like to encourage the judges that we should be brief so that we can have as many shareholders.
The chairman of the board of Wema PLC, Chief Mr. Alhaji Babatunde Kasali, and the board of directors. Yes. My names are Sir Olatunde Okelana, Balogun Olugban of Orile Igban in Oyo State. I'm a justice of peace of Oyo State, and I'm a security consultant. I lead the shareholders mobilization committee. We mobilize for your support. As a chieftain of the shareholders, we have followers. A good leader must have followers, and I have some information and some agitation of the shareholders we represent. Number one, the issue of the unclaimed dividends in Nigeria. SEC is part of our problem as well. I will tell you why they are part of our problem. There is a platform called EDMMS, whereby if some registrars are not articulate enough, or they want to be stringent, or can I say they want to be stereotype, every unclaimed dividends form or e-dividends mandate form given to them, they will upload it through the EDMMS. And the bank will charge you 161 naira. And some shareholders of Wema Bank, for example, maybe all the dividends is expecting is less than 100 naira, and they now pay 161. I am not saying Greenwich Registrar is doing that, but our bank should find a way to see how SEC can remove this obnoxious law. I will give you an instance. If I walk into Gomoso branch of Wema Bank with my mandate form, and it's properly stamped and endorsed that I have shares, I have accounts with the Wema Bank, I take it to Greenwich Registrar. It is normal for them to adopt it. But some of them in the registrar department in this country are very stubborn, or I will still use the word stereotype. They will now upload you through the platform, and they are cheating the Nigerian shareholders. You have to pay money, both the 7.5 VAT and the 150 naira. And you know, some of them are funny. Let's assume you have 4 accounts. They will now debit your account 4 times. I don't know, on the same mandate form. So Nigerian, the capital market is in shambles. We are suffering. Let's find a way we can reduce the challenges faced by shareholders to claim their dividends. Having said that, Greenwich Registrar, with due respect to you, we have 10 shareholders representing thousands of Wema Bank shareholders. Maybe it's an oversight. In the last 2, 3, 4, 5 days, you will have found a way of sending these annual reports to us. I study computer as a science. You discover that it's not every time one should be reading on the laptop. It's one of the reasons I'm using glasses today, because I studied computer as far back 1991, during the year of 486, 386, before Pentium, before Celeron motherboard. So you discover that most of us, we need this thing 3, 4, 5 days ago. You don't need to allow me to come here to get a copy. I'm not disputing that you didn't send the one by electronics. Please, improve on your services to us. And don't be too hard on us the way you do at times in your office. Having said that, my chairman, your alert services, I want you to see what you can improve on it. For example, I recently changed my phone, and I want to change my app to another phone. It becomes a problem. Then another challenge on the alert is that within 2, 3 days, it will be asking you for update. How many times do you update the app? You have to look at this. Your customers are suffering. I can't remember an app of other of your competitors will be asking me to update the app within 2 times in a month. You should find a way to resolve this issue. I want to discuss the issue of our closeness to the bank and vis-a-vis the money we need to make sure this bank works. There's an advice I want to go to the management. Let us know the directors and what they are representing. I know Odua. This bank used to be Agnomagbe, and we know when we bought National Bank, how our shares was reconstructed during that time. We lost a lot. Shareholders is always losing. That's an adage. Anytime we go to AGM, you might not remember. We always say, may God bless Nigerian minority shareholders. The minority shareholders are suffering. When you are talking of restructuring, at long last, minority will suffer. It's not government money. It's our private money. If I have 4 graduates in my house, they finish. They cannot go to school. They cannot work after serving this country. And you still need more money from me. The same market, we should be able to help us and make sure things get better. Those days, when things were normal in this country, when our award finished from Polytechnic, for example, they will do industrial attachment in Wema Bank. They will gather knowledge. Of course, they will put that knowledge in their resume. to say I served Wema Bank for 1 year. But because of reasons best known to the Nigerian government, our youth are not able to serve in the banking industry again because banks use them and dump them. And it's a policy. So what we are saying is that apart from giving you money, we should also have position or confidence that our children will be able to work. It's important. You need human resources. And I know Mr. Ogunbenro, she always look for the best hand. You always get the best hand when you allow people to do industrial training like they do. Like those people that went to Elizabeth University, I discovered that the Elizabeth University has a rapport with the bank. And most of their students do industrial attachment with the Wema Bank. Why not, from that list, occasionally engage them? Those are the ways you can assist the parents who send their children to Elizabeth University and spend about 7 million in 4 years to educate their children. You'll be assisting your shareholders when you do a lot of things like this. On your dividend policy, we appreciate you. We'll give you more money, but you have to note 2 things: timing and pricing. It's very, very important. And you must do your public relations and marketing very well. And don't forget, don't look for money in the public as we agree. Look for money as a right of shareholders. Among us, we have the confidence in you, especially you, Babatunde Kasali. I know you too well. And I know Ademola Adebisi. He was well trained by those that were his predecessor. And I know he will do better. And I want to congratulate you again for allowing Oluwole, how do you pronounce his name? To be on the board. It's the best thing that has happened to us because it's very close to shareholder. Please give the board a round of applause. I want to tell you on behalf of shareholders, our support is still remain intact. Please always interact with us as urgent, and when necessary, we'll be there to answer you. God bless all the shareholders of Wema Bank. Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you very much. Can I have this side? Can I have this side, please? Thank you. Can we have the microphone over here?
Thank you, sir.
Before you start, please, I want us to go around all the shareholders. We're not going to, we're not many here. It's going to go around all the shareholders because that's why we are here. Thank you, sir. Sir? Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. To make sure we have opportunity for each shareholder without Mr. Oh, I didn't know when you came in. Thank you very much. I just heard your voice. You're welcome. It's a very good piece of advice. So they can give other people opportunity to ask questions or raise issues that have not been raised. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Please, we're going to go around everybody as much as, not even as much as possible. 100%. Thank you. Madam, we will get, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, my name is Tunde Badmos, and I thank you for this privilege. I will quickly start by advising us to be louder and more visible, because the bank is performing. But what I mean in being louder is showcasing our medals. And I'm intentional about this, knowing fully well that we will soon be approaching the market, though it could be right, and to the best knowledge of the board, you may still combine other means. Going by this resolution, I'm suggesting we are proactive enough to start as soon as we get regulatory approval. We start generating more awareness by letting the achievements of this performing board reach the far and near. And how can we achieve this in a cost-effective manner? We can make use of a frontage of our branches, all the Wema Bank branches, create awareness that something is coming up. You may not be specific by now, but let us know that we are cooking and something will soon hit the investing public. A lot is working. I'm always privileged to enjoy receiving alerts via alert from friends, and I do send through alert too. I will encourage our chief Olugbe, okay, Lana, not to rely on the app alone. You can still use the USSD. Okay, you don't want to spend money. Okay, I'm just advertising. I'm just giving you an alternative platform that could be useful to you too. Now, a bitter pill is there being envisaged. I refer to the proposed restructuring of shares. I call it a bitter pill, especially to retail shareholders like us. And with our members, teaming members we represent. And you know, of course, even if you have an ailment, maybe even malaria, most of malaria medications, they are often bitter, but if you must get well, you swallow it, and regardless of the taste. But I will encourage you, some of our people, some of our siblings and children offering courses. One was telling me about pharmacy technology. I don't know how the guy describes it. I was now wondering how does technology come into it. He said it's a way to modify beta drugs to make it palatable. I will encourage Wema Bank to look for palatable ways of presenting the beta dosage to us. I want to believe that we will still cooperate if the presentation is friendly enough to us. But I will still advise you, since this is not the first one we are doing it, this is not the first place we are doing it, make good use of reputable associations in a way that they can start going back to their constituencies by now to start the awareness I told you about, so that it won't just come as a shock. Because considering the economic reality, it may make it tougher to swallow a bitter pill or eating such a food, even where the economic fundamentals are not favorable. I'm referring to the harsh economic reality in the country, coupled with the advent of COVID and the adverse effect which our chairman has rightly mentioned in the annual report. We must package it in a way that it won't be outrightly rejected. Because judging by what we've been hearing from members, most of us and our members are often, initially, we don't like to hear about it. I mean, shares reconstruction. But we work, get back to our people, let the bank do its own, while we, as de facto ambassadors of our institution, can still, you can rest assured that we do our best, but it may take an extra effort. But I'm sure at the end of the day, we will still succeed. Having said that, I want to thank the bank for your efforts during the past pandemic. It's still commendable and notable that despite what we feel, you were able to spend so much as stipulated in these accounts. And I still hope you can do more as occasion warrants. The other thing I want to be direct now. I'm from Ibadan, your state. I'm imploring you to extend your CSR to Ibadan. Let's see you more in Ibadan, so that you know our relationship between the Western region of your state and Wema Bank. you can still do more in terms of CSR to us. I want to save time for others to contribute on the financials, and I wish you the best as we approach and making progress. Best of luck to Wema Bank. Best of luck to Nigeria.
Can I come to this side, please, and have Barrister Fiobola, please? I think we have enough time to go around, please, because this is your meeting. We only meet once a year, and I think we should give every opportunity to ask questions. And to get from Mr. Onanaos, which I'll borrow from him, that we ask questions that have not been asked before.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'm standing on the existing protocol. My name is Barrister Adetutu Shinyobola. I have some observations here. I'm starting my observation on page 2, financial highlights. Total deposits grew by 39% from 580.92 billion naira to 804.87 billion naira in the year under review. Total assets and contingents grew by 37% from 0.79 trillion naira to 1.05 trillion naira in the year under review. Shareholders' fund grew by 7% from 55.36 billion naira to 59.31 billion naira in the year under review. Profit before taxation declined by 13% from 6.77 billion naira to 5.94 billion naira in the year under review. Profit after taxation declined by 12% from 5.21 billion naira to 4.59 billion naira under review. Gross earnings declined from 93.39 billion naira to 79.88 billion naira in the year under review. I observed that COVID-19 pandemic affected our turnover and profitability, but all the same, I give kudos to the board and the management for the profit declared. Well done. The second one is on page 3, governance structure. Size and composition of the board. I observed that 4 out of the 12 board members are women, which is good on gender balancing. On page 3, changes on the board. I observed that in the year under review, Ms. Tina Vuko Kwasha retired as an independent non-executive director, and Mrs. Ibiye Ikon was appointed to fill the vacuum created by the exits, which is good. Mr. Oluwole Ajimisimi was appointed as executive director. Mrs. Folake Shanu retired as executive director in 2021. And Mr. Emeka Obiagu was appointed to fill the vacuum created by her exits. Why do we have to appoint a man in the only executive slot given to women? Are you saying that there is no other women who can fill that gap? That's a question. I want to seize this opportunity to thank the retired directors for their meritorious services to our bank and to wish them well in their future endeavors. And I want to seize this opportunity to welcome Mrs. Ibiye Kong, Mr. Oluwole Ajimisimi, and Mr. Emeka Obiagu to the board and to wish them a fruitful tenure in office. From page 5 to 10, on attendance at board meetings and board committee meetings, I observe 100% attendance, which is excellent. Keep it up. On page 57, under donations, I observe that our CSR centers on health, education, and community development alone, and it does not extend to youth empowerment and social welfare. Next time, we should extend our donations to them. On page 51, our achievements. I observe that we have 5 awards to our credit in the year under review. Second position in the KPMG Banking Industry Customer Experience Survey. Best use of mobile to enhance customer experience, NTITA 2020. SME Bank of the Year 2020 Award from Business Day. Number 1 digital banking channel by KPMG Digital Channels Scorecard 2020. Lastly, Advan Community Hero, Advan Awards for the Marketing Excellence 2020. Please keep it up. On page 58 and 59, under Employee Gender Analysis. The gender analysis of the board and top management on the infographic indicates that we have 8 ladies out of 32, which amounts to 25%, which is unacceptable on gender balancing. On page 56, director shareholding. I observe that 9 out of 12 directors have direct or indirect shares of our bank attached to their names. This is good, I'm impressed. On page 114, other operating expenses, electricity costs went up from 254 million naira to 465.5 million naira in the year under review. There is no increase in tariff in the year 2020. Why is that increase? Legal expenses went up from 198.97 million naira to 313.94 in the year under review. When some companies are slashing fees due to COVID, why the increase? NDIC premium went up from 1.7 billion naira to 2.4 billion naira in the year under review. Why? Why must AMCON levy our bank almost 4 billion naira? Are we working for them? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Arista. Thank you very much. Can I come to this side? Can I have the gentleman at the back? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. I stand on the existing protocol. My own name is Eric Akinduro. I'm the chairman of Ibadan Zone Shareholders Association. Firstly, I want to commend this bank on one particular thing, that is innovations. I look around, I can see that the bank is really moving fast in terms of innovations, not only in the head office. I have one of the Wema Bank branches in my area in Akpata, and recently I can see that that bank is being renovated. Everything about that bank is world class. So I need to commend this bank, the board, and the management. And not only that, even looking at this annual report, I realized that I discovered a lot of things, a lot of new things in the annual report. And it's a very good initiative. Somebody said that innovation is a progress in the face of tradition. You are making progress. Please keep it up so that we can enjoy more and learn more from Wema Bank. And also, Mr. Chairman, looking at this, our report that we are considering this year, we've not gotten to where we are going to. The bank, it's not that we are really performing very well, but it's better than where we are coming from. Because I can see from our profit after tax, we have a decline from 5.21 billion to 4.59, and our gross earning, 93.4 billion to 79.9. So we need to do more. We've not gotten there yet. We need to have more vision, We need to strategize so that we can be part of the 4 big banks in Nigeria. And I believe that's going to be our vision. Somebody said something in an interview recently when I was reading the book of Warren Buffett. He said something. He said that you don't need to be smarter, but you only need to be disciplined. When you are disciplined more than any other person, they will think that you are smarter, but you will get to the top. So we need to put more discipline so that we can achieve and we can get to where we aim to go. I noticed something also on your complaint resolve mechanism. The complaint resolve mechanism of the bank is very strong. Very, very strong. Because I realized that we started the year with 239,623 complaints, and we resolved 236,367, leaving only 3,256 pending as at the year December 2020. And one thing I'm glad about it is that we don't have anyone escalated to CBN. This is a very good initiative on the part of the bank. When we don't have any complaint escalated to CBN, that means we can handle our complaint and we take our customers, we take them serious. And something about customers is that when you take them serious, they will be your sales force. They tell people about you. They give referrals to you so that we can have good business from them. So I really commend you about that. And I noticed our non-performing loan also dropped from 7.38% to 4.69%. This is very commendable, but we need to watch it so that we don't add more to non-performing loan. Because when I look at the report of the audit committee on page 73, I realize that we have about 2.83 billion naira non-performing. We have that not performing. And recently, when you look at the Senate bill on AMCON, they passed a bill that even when somebody is suing a particular company, you can go to extra mile to recover your debt from such a person or such organization. So I believe we can use this to reduce our non-performing loan. Those customers that are owing us, let us go use this bill and get our loans from them so that we can have more robust balance sheet at the end of the day. And also on page 6, I noticed a statement there that Tina Vuka left the committee that she was serving on February 2020, while she retired from the board on 16/8/2020. That statement that she left that committee, I'm not too comfortable with that. Definitely something is wrong. Why should somebody leave a committee that is serving while she's still on the board? So probably you can give us more explanation on the choice of your language there. And also on page 83, note 24, I noticed that deposit from banks for 2020 was nil. Deposit from banks on note 24, page 83, was nil, while we have 3.6 million in 2019. I don't know why we have that deposit from banks that was nil for the year. And also on page 112, we have gains on disposals of properties to the tune of 1.3 billion. So I don't know if we can have the ideas of some of these are properties that were disposed, so that as a family and as a household bank, we don't just continue to go and point to other properties that has been sold as our property. So probably if you have the ideas of some of the properties that this so property is no more our own, so that when we are going as shareholders or as customers of the bank, we cannot just continue to say that we have properties there so that they don't arrest us on trespasses on properties. And also in line, that is on page 120, in line with CBN directives to dispose all investment properties, I want to know how we are complying to this directive from CBN that we should dispose all our investment properties, because I read it from here that we are still working on that. And also going to page 55 on forgeries. We have total fraud of 237.5 million for the year, and we lost 105.5 million on our fraud and forgeries. So I put it there that we need to pay more attention to our cyber security. There's nothing we can do about that. It's what is in the vogue. But we need to pay more attention on our cyber security so that we can curb some of these fraud and forgeries. And also on page 130, note 31. Page 130, note 31, contingencies. Under that, we have litigations and claims. We have from 7 billion to 10.7 billion in the current year. This thing is increasing gradually, and we need to watch it. Normally, it's what happens during the course of business, but we need to watch how much litigations that we have, so that if there's a way, we can always introduce some other ways of reducing our litigations, either through arbitration or through negotiation, so that we can have lesser of this litigation. Finally, Mr. Chairman, on our proposal to reconstruct our shares, we will need more explanation, convincing explanation from you. Why are we reconstructing our shares? Because shareholders of Wema Bank over the years, we have suffered. As of today, the value of our shares, the value of our shares in the market is less than 60 kobo. Some of the shares that we bought at 2 naira, 3 naira. And when we are reconstructing again, and from the past experience, and something about history, is that when you forget about history, it's just like a root. It's like a tree without root. So we can't simply forget history. Shareholders of Nigeria capital market, we have suffered a lot when it comes to reconstruction. So for you now to be giving us another proposal that you want to construct our shares, we know you are there. You know what you are facing. You know what you want to do. That may be the only option that you think of now. But we advise that you think of more other options. And if it is the reconstruction is the only best option that you have for now to give our bank value, you need to convince us so that when you reconstruct our units, the price will not go down to where it is as of today. So we need more information on that from you. And finally, once again, I need to commend the company secretary. He has been doing a very good work. He makes sure that he connected us to get this information whenever we requested any information from him. Once again, I say thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kidoro. Can I have this side at the back, please? Then I'll come to over.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Okezia Boniface, the National Chairman, Progressive Shareholders Association of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, you see why it become important to balance, because we would have big hold that you don't call most people from our brother, from other, to balance these things, you need to also reflect geographical. That's when Barrister was talking about replacing somebody who retired. Why do you replace it with another woman? On page 3, the appointment you made on Mr. Meke Obiago have nothing to do with me. Okay, as an Igbo man. I'm an Igbo man, proudly Igbo man. Yes, because the way Nigeria is structured, it is not balanced. And that's why we're having regional ethnicity problem today. And that problem we're having, as you have people, you don't appoint them there, people feel marginalization. The appointment of that man, because we are Republicans, it doesn't owe me anything. If I can benefit from him, I can benefit to other tribe than him. As an Igbo man, of course, that's truth. That's who we are. So we don't, that's in a paradigm that's Igbo, does not have a king. Only king we own is God. So if it's there, it's on its own. But the bank will leverage on that, to balance the equations. Because of the business transaction, somebody will say, an Igbo man is there and an ED, let me do business with that bank. Since we are now, migrating out from regional to national, so I think it's very, very important, and I want to commend the board for that foresight and bring him on board. And I believe if he's coming on board, we play a vital role to make sure this bank grows internationally, even beyond Nigeria and Africa. Wema Bank can play a major role in bringing in sub-Sahara for financial industry to, moving Africa forward, not only in Nigeria, as the case may be. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I want to commend Mr. Demola Adebisi for a job well done since he took over from the Wema Bank. I think Wema Bank is flying right now and have recovered his bearing. I think he's getting back to compete among his peers in the industry. But unfortunately, we are operating in the environment where the regulators have been over-regulated. And they do things with impunity. And when we shout, nobody's listening because leadership in the country. That's why I say the way the country is structured, nothing seems to work. Anything concerning the South, they want to bring it down, to wreck it. That's the problem we're having today. In the banking industry in 2007, they started it, because the South was, I think, in virtual controlling the economy, even the commerce. So some people didn't like it. They want to bring the bank down, and they succeeded in doing that, So I am clear that, we should also put our heart together watching this regulatory people, because nobody regulate them. Nobody regulate them. They can regulate. Mr. Chairman, if you look at page 134 on contravention by the banks and which CBN lands such a huge amount of money to the bank, those contravention is avoidable. Some of them may even occur in 2015 or thereabout, 14. They will bring it forward to slam you. And that also happened in donation you made on page 57, where we paid 100 million. I have got my information in all the banks on COVID. The board or the bank did not see to appropriate those money on resolutions. Because if you do those things without bank in the consent of CBN, they will penalize. Why should CBN debit a source? Is it their money? Shareholders' money. And the bank make it to donate. This one was debited as source by CBN without bank resolution, without board resolutions. I think it's becoming imperative that CBN should return those money. It's fraudulent by coerce taken from the bank, It's unacceptable. We can't do that. Even the contravention, you don't argue. By the time you say Jack, they debit the account because the money revolved in the vote of CBN. And that's kind of regulatory we're having today. Reckless. They do things with impunity, without as if, we are still operating on military caveat. These are destruction the military rule have put into this country. Anybody appointed civilian, whatever, behave like a military man. And that's why things are not working. Nobody called them to order. How can you force a company to make a donation without the board approval? It's never had anywhere in the world. It can only happen in this part of the world. And that's why Nigeria is what it is today. Nigeria is upside down. Economically, we are down. Politically, we are down. No leadership is provided. And CBN governor is doing such things. We're still operating democracy. What kind of a democracy? What kind of civilian rule are we operating? Mr. Chairman, we are adding our voice as a shareholder that CBN should return every money forced on the bank to donate on COVID. He made some donations. He made some donations so that the corporate responsibilities. And the board took that resolution to approve those donations. Why must it be stampede? Because they have the money and they have to force to pay it. That's totally wrong. That's totally wrong. And the downtrodden did not benefit from the so-called palliative of COVID. They warehouse it to politicians to rule campaign. They branded some of the items donated to them. They make, when they are going for campaign, it's coming from the governor. not knowing that it's a corporate world, we are meant to do these things. Mr. Chairman, on page 144, other operating expenses, my good sister was talking about ANCOM and NDIC. I think it's high time, even the rubber stamp Senate also approved the lifespan of ANCOM to continue. We have been shouting over the years, they don't listen. They are deaf and dumb, government, including those who say we elected, because some of them are selected. Nobody elected them. That's why they're behaving the way they're behaving in the country. All the governors, the Senate, the House of Reps, they're all the same, including the presidency. Because today what we have is presidency, not even presidency. Everybody's president. Mr. Chairman, I am saying categorically that ANCOM should be wound up. It's operation, we have said it. But unfortunately, rubber stamp, continue. ANCOM have not published accounts since inception. They are collecting people's money. All the distinct discounted they collect, and they make this money back. They never publish whether they are profiting loss or profit. And they are living on the expense of the bank shareholders. We pay NDIC. We pay ANCOM. Why must we duplicate things in this country? If you want to have NDIC, let NDIC exist. They are much beneficiary to the shareholder or the banks than ANCOM. Why must you duplicate things? What's the role of ANCOM and NDIC? So either they take one and shut one down. Because two of them, the bankers are making money. And the bankers committee does not appoint the appointment of those with ANCOM. It's government. Government appoint the chairman, the directors who to be there. But you are the one financing it in the bankrolling. ANCOM. This is totally bad, Mr. Chairman. We can't continue in this way in this country. We can't continue that way. So those money, we must be watchful how we are funding ANCOM. Page 51, I have to commend the banks for various awards. That clearly shows that bank is alive today, doing its good job, and people are recognizing when your hard work are being reflected. People are commending. People are seeing. You may pretend that people are not seeing you. People are seeing it. So I want the bank to continue in that trajectory, to continue to do their good job. People will remember to commend you. And that's why shareholders also join their voice in AGM like this to commend the bank. But when you are not done well, they will also complain you are not done well. My brother had thought about complainant resolve. I want to commend the banks so far for how you are handled, and we have not even lost much money. It's very, very commendable. I want to commend you. Yes, Mr. Chairman, on page 44, that is the notice convened the meeting, the restructuring we talked about. It is not overflogging that issue. We need to emphasize. We need to get more engagement with stakeholders. Yeah, because for me, it might be a way to go, because we can't continue to have 5 kobo or 4 kobo. When you are working hard to show that banks are going through transformation and something is coming out, things are looking up to, but we are going to have 5 kobo on the volume of 39 billion shares. That's not good enough. It's not healthy. Because the dividend they are paying is not number of shareholders, number of shares on issues. What we are paying for. Mr. Chairman, but then if we are reconstructing these things, we need to assure us that the price will be going up, and we will do things that we need to do to make sure that the price of the share doesn't come down. That must match what we are constructing, what we are reducing. We must add value to it. That's the way we can allow it to fly. Because having this year, I have 10 million. At the end of the day, it doesn't worth it, what we're having. So reconstructing it is the way to go and bringing it down so that we can pay enhanced dividend. If we have 19 million shares today, or 19 billion shares, we can be able to service it at the end of the day. If you have 15 billion shares, we can be able to service it and pay a good dividend from it. Because in future, we are still going to issue bonuses and we increase by the shares. Mr. Chairman, if we are reconstructing, we must add value to every stakeholders who will lose through that reducing their shares or their investments. We need to compensate them one way or the other. The way to compensate them is to make sure that we grow the earnings, that we grow the assets. Because We can't continue operating on 60-something billion shareholders fund. We need to come up with the regulator, have 100 billion shares. But that means we are going to also increase shares. But if we don't reduce, how do we, make room for bringing additional shares to raise that money? Mr. Chairman, I am totally in support with the board decision to reconstruct. But let you have a human face at the end so that people will feel proud that, well, it's better we have allowed this thing to go and we are adding value, we are seeing the value now. So when you have, I have 50,000 shares, it's worth it. If you are going to market, people will rush this to buy because Wema Bank is doing well and the brokers will queue order. People are ordering shares to buy. But if we are having this share in quantum like this, the bank will not go place, it won't fly. And that's why I'm lending my support. But we must have a human face. We must compensate the minority shareholders and those who will lose their reduction. So I'm totally in support. But let it have a human face. God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your recommendation. Can I have Mr. Awu? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, other members of the board, very distinguished fellow shareholders. For the record, my name's Nona Awu. Mr. Chairman, when you called me after you have called a political shareholder, then you put me in trouble as to what to say and what not to say. But all the same, I want to thank you for recognizing my presence, hence calling me. Mr. Chairman, I have a very bad habit. And the habit, I have some, not just one. But one of them that I will disclose today is that once I get an annual account, I try to look for how the account leads me. Just like those of you who go to some churches, the spirit-led. I also make sure that I allow the account to lead me in the spirit as to how to go. But when I saw this account, there was something that tried to lead me. And I looked at it the second time. I said, no, this is the way to go. And on page A, B, the way you have done your pagination, there is page A, there is page A, there is AB. And on AB, he said, take a look and see what's new. Chairman, I thought you were wearing your glasses. Somebody is pointing it out to you. And I took a look, and I saw that some things were different. The first one that I saw has to do with what you have on page 45. He said the maker was appointed on the 1st of April. I said, wait a minute. April 1? I hope somebody is not playing. But I discovered that since you didn't give a profile, you didn't give. I said, okay, I will wait and hear whether it will be announced at the AGM. So that I removed the full in April 1. But on page 57, I also saw the fact that our staffers made a contribution of 7 million in terms of donation as part of the company's and the bank's bigger CSR role. But Chairman, going forward, I also think that for this picture to be total, it may be necessary for us to quantify the man-hour that they also provided in providing those services and put a value on them. That way we have a total picture of cash. Again, apologies to the accountants, and one of them is sitting in front of me. And they talk about cash and non-cash. Chairman, I didn't want to say that you are one of them so that you don't reduce my dividend next year. But talking seriously on it, Mr. Chairman, I think it's something that we need to recognize that other than providing employment for people, people are also concerned about the less privileged people in society. And it's in that line that I want to remind the bank that Mother Teresa said, nobody has so little that he has nothing to give. So that people don't think that it's because they were promotion in the year, that's why this came about. Because time itself does not come from promotion. It comes from the desire to provide service. Mr. Chairman, there is so much talk about reconstruction, as indicated on page 44 and 47, but I'll leave that for the last. And I will rather concentrate on an aspect that not much is being talked about, and that has to do with what we have on page 135 to 177, talking about risk, including looking at what our risks are in view of COVID. So, Mr. Chairman, I will be hoping that going forward, the challenge that we had on page 112, when fees on e-products and TB went down from 14.5 billion to 3.6 billion. I know we had a crash in rates in TB during the year, but I didn't imagine that that would be our position in the market. So I'll be asking, what is it that is different in terms of the structure of our TBs that didn't happen in the other bank? Because one of the things I've also tried to do is to look at what the other bank done. Again, in terms of earnings from Treasury bill, we are usually down in terms of that. So I'll be hoping that some information will be provided. Still on page 112, interest on deposits. Again, Mr. Chairman, you permit me, because what I heard earlier was the opposite of what I thought should be the position. Interest on deposits was 29 billion. On page 83 and 87, we had 247 in terms of sterile fund with CBN. But out of this amount, we only have 170 basically directly held by central bank. But what I don't seem to understand, which I will want some explanation, if we paid interest and deposits, and that same deposit is insured by NDIC, and that's on that same deposit, we are paying interest. How come that CBN does not seem to understand that we are being charged on both ways? Or is it that our representative at Bankers Committee don't raise these issues? Because you are paying interest. I've put money in the bank. You pay me interest. That same money that I've deposited, CBN takes benefit. And then I go back, and then central bank is going to say, what NDIC rather takes benefit. And I go back, you see pay. I don't seem to understand it. Probably some of us did economics different from where they did their own. But economics is a global subject. So I can't understand really what is happening. So I'll be hoping that the MD will give, without putting you unnecessarily on the spot, because we need to understand it, so we don't come here and talk without understanding what the mind of central bank is also in. But there's a major, major challenge when it comes to banking, for me, in this regards. Mr. Chairman, I also want to take, by the way, what we paid in AMCOM and NDIC in the year under review is 6.4 billion. 6.4 billion. But that is external to our operation. So, I'm also concerned about the one that is within our control. Mr. Chairman, we've been back to national license for a couple of years now. But I still find that on page 110 and 111, that we still carry a huge concentration risk around our business in Lagos. So what is it that we are doing differently to make sure that at least what the other segment of the country is contributing is far in excess of what we are carrying now? Because Lagos as an area is basically, if we have a challenge now, we'll be in trouble. Okay, so it's important that we begin to look at how to reduce that risk. And it's in that light, Mr. Chairman, I'm also concerned as to what we have done in terms of branches. To date, we are only present in 19 states and Federal Capital Territory out of 36. Yes, I know that one of the answers that you're also likely to give, modern banking is not like brick and mortar. But you need brick and mortar to be able to direct some persons to having to use the electronic platform. I am not from Abia. I'm not from Anambra. But there's no way in current day Nigeria you will not be present in Aba and you will not be present in Onitsha. Okay, even if you live in Nnewi, because of the proximity between Onitsha and Nnewi, but those two towns, there's no way you can afford. So what is it that we're doing to make sure that we're present in those two states? Because like I said, some of us are not led by emotion. I haven't read the economics. 3 hands. On one hand, on the other hand, and all others' hands. It's important that we begin to look at ability to tap into those two states. Mr. Chairman, I also think that going forward, having looked at your cover page, and I find plenty of padlocks there, and I didn't find any key. I am hoping that one of the keys that you'll be needing to newer things to come will be, we need to look at some of our branches and see how we begin to look at alternate source of power. Yes, somebody mentioned this. Power alone in 2020, 900 million. So if we begin to use solar in some of the smaller branches, what we are going to find that over time, this amount will go down and the efficiency will not be less going forward. I also not too certain as to how to handle the issue of sourcing low-cost funds. It's difficult for me to say you must do more, but certainly that is what I would still say. Because in the year under review, you're able to move that number from 76 billion to 120 million. I don't know how you did it. And that's why I didn't complain too much as to why NDIC money went to 4 billion. Because if you're able to almost double what you did in terms of low-cost funds, it also means that if we push you a little more, you are likely to do more. So I will not look at one of the pictures where you had too many women sitting on a very few men. What I will do is to reverse the situation and make sure that all the shareholders sit on the board so they can deliver more. On a closing note, Mr. Chairman, I do know that if we were to appoint an alternate director, that alternate director will not sit on the board until you have gotten shareholders' approval. And in that light, if we have persons appointed as proxy, and I want the company secretary who is a lawyer to advise us, can the person that you have appointed as a proxy appoints a proxy to himself? So we don't run into a situation where one smart investor will make money from us by going to court. That what you gave me is different from what I paid for, because you having to say you appointed a proxy means that you have the person's consent. And I'm not sure that those of us who come to AGMs and appoint other persons as proxy, to we who are proxy will not have issues going down the line. Because when the regulators come tomorrow now, the same set of noisemakers will begin to make noise about what they haven't done right. So I want you to advise, because I've spoken to a few lawyers who don't work in the position that you work, so we are mindful. But I will tell you, since I won't have the opportunity to speak on the same issue, one of the things we should ask them to do, if they must even be present, having the alternate, the alternate should come here and keep quiet, as basically observers. That's what they are. We need to be careful. We need to be careful. Mr. Chairman, on a closing note, like I said, on page 19, I saw the picture of the MD. And unfortunately, this was happening 2 days before I got the annual account. And the question that my last baby said was that, oh, Daddy, can this man be 75 years old? I will not tell you the second part of the story. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Oh, thank you very much. As usual, I would like to come forward again to Mr. Akinlade, please. I will get to you, please.
The chairman, board members, my colleagues, shareholders, regulatory authorities hereby present, good afternoon. I'm not going to waste your time because a lot of things I jotted down, people have spoken about it, and I'm not going to repeat them, except where there is need for emphasis. I want to congratulate our company, our bank, for surviving last year. Last year was really a very, very difficult year. That's the year of pandemic and lockdown. It's the year of ENSA. It's the year of collapse of oil prices. There were so many issues. Any business surviving it deserve kudos. So I'm not surprised. In terms of growth earning, profit after tax, the company is down, but not devastating. So I say congratulations. But even when we say the company is down in terms of performance, there are some areas where we have very good indices. If we look at deposits, we were able to grow it by 39%, which is good. And when I look at page 176 of the annual report too, I could see that capital adequacy ratio also moved from 13.6% to 15.01%, which is also positive for the company. People have talked on a number of issues that should make the bank to grow further. I identify with that. I thank God at a point we had a regional license. Later on, we were able to move further by having a national license. The Wema Bank is a bank with a lot of idle assets across the nation. You see, if you go to some places, you will see branches that have been abandoned and overgrown with weeds and all that. I think with capital raising we want to do, I pray it will be successful. And yes, people have expressed resentment about reconstructing our shares. It is true that in a number of cases, when shares are reconstructed, the pricing is not commensurate with what it used to be. But I can understand where a bank is coming from. If they are going to do capital raising, and probably when they reconstruct the shares, it will give them room to raise new capital in terms of right issue without necessarily increasing authorized capital. And if you have to increase authorized capital, there are costs associated with it. So I think it's the way they manage it that is very, very important. So if we are able to raise money and we have enough capital, we need to spread our tentacle across the nation. Nona who has made a very valid point on Aba and Onitsha. These are big business centers where we can make a lot of money. And beyond that, a number of our branches that are idle all over the country. Let's see if some of them can be resuscitated. And with that, we can also attract more cheap fund in terms of savings in rural communities. And I know the interest you pay on savings is very, very negligible. And that's the kind of thing that can give the company more money. People have talked about NDIC and ANCOM. I'm not going to say precisely what they have said. But I understand that of NDIC. That's an insurance and for depositors. And it depends on the amount of customer deposits that you have. The company has nearly doubled customers' deposits. That is understandable. My problem is with an ANCOM levy. In this country, honestly, the regulators are the people, because there's nothing the bank can do about it. It's imposed on them. The regulators, they have to be more patriotic. The way they do things, they play God. Like, yes, whatever we say, they must do it. And even our government is another issue. People in the National Assembly, our representatives, ANCON has overspent, their term has expired. They again gave them extension. For what? ANCON was established to address a particular issue. And that has been done. More or less, they are saying ANCOM has come to stay. So that anybody, politician, can go and sit down there as chairman, as this and that, and be feeding facts. We have to be patriotic. We have to think about it. Our regulators, you are not God. You are there to make these banks perform well. Don't be a cross on the wheel of their progress. I know that banking industry, I think, is the most overregulated in the nation. I don't think it's like that everywhere. It is here. You know that at times, if you go to some banks, CBN more or less has a permanent seat there. All the time, they are there. It's not supposed to be so. We should be helping them. We should be helping them. Imposing penalties and all that. This ANCOM money, I think they even increased the rate to 0.5% of the total asset. Is that right? Yeah. Right. It's not right. And our regulators that are here, when we get back to our offices, give them feedback of our feelings. So it is very, very, very important. Help us. Another thing I want to say, people have said it, but I want to re-emphasize it. When you impose donations, you must donate this, you must have reviewed a number of banks' financial statement this year. There are some people, they impose 500 million, some 250 million, some 200 million. I think for Wema, 100 million, because Wema is a small bank. You are appropriating shareholders' fund. It's not your money. I'm not saying we are donating for COVID-19. It's a good cause. It's a good cause, but don't impose. Let the board decide on what they can afford. It's not you imposing that they must bring this, they must bring that. You are appropriating the money that is not your shareholders' money. It's not yours. You are appropriating shareholders' fund. It's not right. So let's do something about it. And when we get back to our offices, let people know our feelings. Now, coming to governance issue. On page 3, executive directors, we have 5. And non-executive director, we have 7. So we have a total of 12 directors. If you look at percentage of executive to non-executive, executive is 42. I think the ceiling is 40. So something needed to be done about that. We have exceeded what is supposed to be. Now, I look at it again, we have only 2 independent directors. I think the newcomer is talking of 3 independent directors. So we also need to look at that. In terms of gender sensitivity, I congratulate you for doing well. That a third of your board is made up of women, which is very good. On page 77, that is external auditors' report. They talk of key audit matters. And one of the issues they pick up is the loan impairment. And that loan impairment for 2020 was 15 billion, as against 12 billion in 2019. Our risk, this brings to question the efficiency of our risk management. At this juncture, I don't expect our loan impairment to be growing, but it has grown by 3%. We will need some explanation on this. An earlier speaker have talked about contraventions, and that some of them are avoidable. And I want to align with him. On page 134, of the total penalty of 23.4 million that we paid, 17.4 million of that is for not obtaining approval for closing and opening branches. It's avoidable. If we know that is the rule, there's no emergency in opening and closing of branches. Why is it that we don't obtain the necessary approval before we go ahead with it? Finally, I want to appreciate 2 directors that have just exited the bank, Prince Adefioye and Samuel Drojaye. These are people, I'm familiar with them, and I know how they have contributed effectively to the management of the bank. And I think we should express the appreciation of shareholders to them. And those who have been newly appointed to the board, we welcome them. And I again want to specially acknowledge the board and the chairman for one thing. Some years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, because this is the third consecutive years that this bank will be paying dividend. We had a number of years without any dividend. And when it started, the chairman said, I'm starting paying dividend, and I will continue to pay dividend. I think we should clap for them. Yes. Small, we started somewhere, and we continue to grow it. And God helping us, our bank will continue to move from strength to strength. We have good people at the helm of our affairs. And for me, I'm confident. Looking at the gentlemen on their table, the chief executive officer came in on good succession plan. So he has known everything within the system before he came there. So he's one of the best person to run the organization. And I will say that our succession plan, please, let's keep on to it. You are better off when you groom people within the system than when you bring people outside that we start learning. We spend some time learning before they understand this, the how things work in the company. And for us, it has helped us to maintain the momentum. And Johnson, I want to thank you. You have been a very effective company secretary. I've had cause to talk to you, to call you, and you have had cause to call me on issues relating to the company. And that kind of interaction is very helpful, and it's good. And it will give us confidence that things are going on well with a bank. Mr. Lawa, thank you. I've had cause to work with you on Wema Bank committee before, and I feel very proud of you gentlemen. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Could I have the last one, please, so we can... thank you. Can we try and be brief so we can take off the resolution? We have about 8 resolutions.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. My name is Mrs. B.C. Bakari. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be very brief. And I'm very sorry for coming late. Then secondly, if there is any question that any of my colleagues have asked, please don't hesitate to ask me to leave it. Though I've asked one of our colleagues some of the questions, I've cancelled them. So first and foremost, Mr. Chairman, I want to commend our bank for the Business Day Award we received in 2020 for the best SME bank of the year. Though we don't have that in the annual report, but it was published in the newspaper. I say congratulations, sir. Page 18 to 21. Where we have our sustainability report. This is very good, Mr. Chairman, especially the Zero Hunger initiatives. This is highly commendable. Please give them a very sound applause for this. I also commend our employee on Salary for Love in the month of February, whereby our staff contributed their one-day basic salary to help critically ill children in government hospitals, neglected individuals, orphanage, and so on. This is really, really commendable, Mr. Chairman. I commend the entire staff of Wema Bank for that. Page 25. Where we have Sarah by Wema. Mr. Chairman, I want to ask from the MD that what is the financial inclusion plan for women who are looking forward to your intervention, particularly on SME? Page 41. Page 41. That is on table, shows the details of complaint received in 2020. Mr. Chairman, on this issue, sir, 2 or 3 CEOs has explained that most of these complaints are not genuine or that they are fraudulent. So my question is, does our bank take any actions against such fake complaints, or we just let it go? I think by the time we take action against them, that will reduce all these fake complaints. Page 44, note 10A. Page 44, note 10A. That is under notice of our AGM. Mr. Chairman, under here, the 10 note A, that is to raise additional capital. I will also take this with page 129, where we have our shareholding structure, free float status. Mr. Chairman, looking at this page, I think we are good to go on right issue. Because looking at our strategic shareholding is 51.8%, directors' direct holding 6.28%, government's holding 8.27%. Total is 66.35%. I think with this, we only need about 35.65%. I think if you can get support of all these investors, and we do our own work very well, I think the offer is going to be fully subscribed. And I would like to also appeal to the registrar too, that they should please make sure they get the existing shareholders, they get their right offer to them. Because what we see in most cases is that after the offer has closed, that we minority shareholders will get our right circular. So I'm using this opportunity to appeal to the registrar on that. Again, Mr. Chairman, if it's going to be right, I want the board to look at the timing and the pricing also. They should both be right. Not only the right offer, but the timing and pricing too should be right. Page 53. Get on alert. MD, with the widely acceptance of alert, how do you plan a sustainable strategy and consolidate on the positioning on a competitive market? We would like to know. Are we expecting more financial products from our bank this year? Once again, thank you for the opportunity given to me, Mr. Chairman.
Distinguished shareholders, I would like to thank you. These are questions to move our bank forward. And I would like to ask the managing director to provide answers to these comments and questions.
Distinguished shareholders, directors, and all stakeholders in terms of our regulators. I think it's been a long day with a lot of questions, and I think if we have to manage our time, I think it's important that I make my response very brief. Some of the answers are already in the accounts, but I will just call out a few of the key questions that have been raised, not in any particular order, but I'll just pick on the ones that I think it's very important. I think there's the issue about women empowerment, Sarah by Wema. On women empowerment, we are very conscious as an organization, especially having been part of a number of bodies promoting the SDGs. In terms of board composition, yes, we have the newcomer, and we are very mindful of the fact that we need to meet the right percentage in terms of women participation. And we are, with my board, we are going to be working on that shortly after the AGM to start the process for meeting the newcomer rules. In terms of CSR, we acknowledge your accolades. We've only been a responsible organization, being a part of the society, and we will continue to do what we need to do as a responsible organization. I also want to recognize Mr. Awar's humor in bringing out the issues, and I think he's brought out very, very salient issues. Issues around interest expense, NDIC, AMCON, and all that. We are definitely having engagements at the Bankers Committee on the number of issues that have been raised. In terms of controllable expenses, quite a number of activities we're embarking on, which is one of the issues that you raised in terms of solar. We have done some POC, proof of concept, for some of our branches. We have not comfortable yet with the level of savings, and that is why we have not rolled out. But be rest assured that that is on the front burner for us. A number of other activities. With the new normal, we have embarked on a number of cost savings in terms of people moving about. We also realize the insecurity in the country. So we use a lot of remote and virtual means of carrying out our activities. So, of course, this dovetails into a number of expense lines that you see there automatically. In terms of our trading income, the previous year was very good. That's 2019. But in 2020, we had to sell down a number of our securities in order to maintain our liquidity, to be able to maintain our obligations to our customers. So basically, in addition to the fact that rates dropped, was also the issue that we actually sold down a number of our securities. So hence the drastic drop in the trading income. In terms of impairment, of course, general increase in loans and advances would normally lead to an increase in general provisions, and that is what led to those impairment, the increase in the impairment that we saw. On fraud and forgeries, the points are noted. We are in the digital age, and the number of all these frauds were carried out on the online platform. We are investing, continuously investing in technology. Just as we are investing on our digital platforms, we are also investing in the security of our digital platforms. As we speak today, we have a security operations center. We also collaborate in the industry to ensure we share information about fraud activities and all that. And we are constantly improving on our processes to ensure that our processes are watertight. Because one thing about the fraudsters is that they are always a step ahead of you. So you need to constantly be proactive in responding to their activities. We're also ensuring that we train our staff as much as possible to ensure that they don't fall prey. Because we always say that the weakest link, can open up everybody. In terms of alerts, this is our flagship. We continue to push alerts. I hear the comments of Chief Okelano. It's all part of trying to improve on alerts, the upgrades that you receive. Whenever features are being updated, we tend to ensure that we push it to store, and you have to definitely upgrade. Now, one of the things that we also pride ourselves with in terms of customer complaints, and you can see that is a testament in the award of KPMG in terms of customer satisfaction, is the fact that we have done a lot of automation in monitoring how people are operating on our platform. If you download alert, I know what you're doing. Whatever activity you're doing, we have the tools to ensure. So we can actually see when customers drop off our platform, or not. So, I mean, we have invested in that. So, and that is why we're able to respond very, very actively. One of the things that we've also decided internally is that we will not allow customers escalate as much as possible to our regulators. We have the Ombudsman and the Central Bank, the Customer Protection Unit. We also have the Ethics Committee of the Bankers Committee. So we pride ourselves that, look, in the last 1 year, we have not entertained any complaints at the Ethics Committee. So that is one of the things that we pride ourselves in. So we monitor the SLAs to ensure that we keep to track. Technology, we continue to invest. You talked about customer complaints. One of the things that we have also adopted is the robotics. A number of the things that you do when you have a failed transaction and you have a reversal automatically, it is not human beings doing it. It's actually the robot that is actually doing some of these things. So we constantly invest in it. Now, in terms of locations, there was also a question around branching out. In Aba, today we have a car center, we also have a branch. Our plans are very on to ensure that we get into Onitsha. Enugu, we also have a property in Enugu. So, I mean, Mr. Akinlade mentioned the issue of our properties all over the place. But of course, it must be based on, okay. What? Okay. So basically, that is, we're looking at the branches that we have that we can open up to, and we are constantly looking at that. Even with Mr. Emeka Obiagu on board, that is on the front burner as we speak. Again, in terms of making our balance sheet efficient, we also try to dispose of properties that we're not going to use, that we're not going to need, and that is part of being a bit more efficient. And it's not about selling properties, it's about ensuring that we get the right value. So if we do not get the right value, we will not dispose of it. So it's not about disposing. So let me, at this point, talk about the issue of capital raise. 2018, that was the last capital raise. 2018, we had a balance sheet of about 300 billion. Deposits of about 222 or 227 billion in 2013. Today, we have grown the balance sheet to almost $1 trillion, about $1 trillion. Deposits in the neighborhood of 800 billion. Risk assets have also grown drastically. We're at the point now where our capital adequacy ratio will be affected if we do not raise capital to be able to grow the business. We have also recently gotten the board approval for our new strategy, a 3-year strategy. We call it DD3. Basically, the whole idea is that by 2023, we want to be the dominant digital bank in Nigeria. As we speak, we believe we're very much on course with that, and quite a number of things will be hitting the market very, very shortly. Now, having said that, we have also looked at the central bank's policy trust. Capital raise is part of the policy trust. It has not been announced, but we believe it's going to be announced very shortly. And we want to be proactive and be ready for that. And that is the essence of what we have done. Now, if we, based on our numbers, we reckon about 40 billion will take us to 100 billion in terms of shareholders' funds. And a number of things, this will allow us to, on the balance sheet, makes the balance sheet a bit more efficient, also allows us growth, ability to grow the business. However, today, what is very clear is the fact that we have 38 billion units in issue. 38 billion is very unwieldy. We are the highest in the industry, not in the capital market as a whole. So having to raise additional capital will mean we're going to increase our authorized share capital. We're going to issue another 40 to 50 billion units, which will hit 100 billion. And this is not efficient at all. So that is the essence of why we're bringing to you, shareholders, the need for us to reconstruct. And I think one of the things is very clear. The message is very clear. We've had cases in the past. We also had good cases about it. But what we can put on the table is the fact that as long as our performance does not drop, we believe that we will not lose shareholder value. And that is why we are making this appeal, prayer to our shareholders today to allow us to raise capital for the sustenance of the bank. I think at this point I will probably want to yield the floor to my chairman if he has any other thing, but I think I've tried to address most of all the issues. I would have loved to address them one-on-one, but time will not permit us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MD. There is only one thing I would like to add. Mr. Kelly remembered when I came 3 years ago, I can't remember that I said to him that my mission, our mission here, is to give return to shareholders. I said it believing in my God, which I serve, that for people to have their money in an institution for 14 years without any return, and it's a moral issue to collect salary or fees or any kind of emoluments to serve you as stewards and not be able to give back to the stewards in which you are serving. That is the context, Mr. Kilade, in which I took it at that time. And I thank you, and I would like to acknowledge the commendation of the board, because it's a collective responsibility by shareholders. And I will assure you once again that we can only continue to move forward. And we will continue to uphold the highest level of corporate governance and ensure adequate returns to shareholders. Thank you very much. We now come to the ordinary business of today that require a vote. And the first item, in accordance with Section 248 subsection 1A of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, I would like to call for a poll result of all items on the agenda except item number 8, which is re-election of the Statutory Audit Committee. Given that all the resolutions before us today are ordinary resolutions, please note that a simple majority of votes will be required to pass each resolution. May I call on Mrs. Ann Mutuat, Registrar's representative, to give a brief explanation on the electronic voting device. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. An electronic device was issued to all the pre-nominated proxies who are those eligible to vote in this meeting. The device has been activated and is ready for use, even if the face is blank. Please avoid pressing any button before the voting is announced. A resolution will be announced and voting for the resolution will commence thereon. And on the voting pad, 1 represents for, that's if you are voting for the resolution. 2 represents a vote against the resolution. And 3, if you are abstaining. Voting for a resolution will commence in 30 seconds. It will commence and end within 30 seconds, and this will be displayed on the board or the wall as the case is today. Voting results will be displayed immediately each session ends. That's after the 30-second round. Unit holding indicated on the results slide is in multiples of 1,000 in view of the large volume that we're dealing with. Please note that you just need to press the device once, lightly, once. Once the green indicator comes up, it indicates that you have voted successfully. You don't need to keep your finger down on the button, otherwise that would also not be effective. Just a light press, the green indicator comes up, and you have successfully voted. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mutua. I believe you have all been given this voting device upon accreditation. In the circumstance, may I request that you use the voting device to cast your votes as we proceed with the meeting. As she rightly said, for yes, vote, press 1. For against, to vote, press 2 on the device. To facilitate the smooth conduct of the business of today, I will move each motion and invite seconders for each motion from the floor. The seconders are hereby requested to state their names to enable the company secretary to take note. We have now come to item 2 of the agenda. In view of the results declared in the audited financial statement that has just been laid before you, the directors are pleased to recommend a dividend of 4 kobo, ordinary share of 50 kobo each, which will be subject to deduction of withholding tax. I hereby move that a final dividend of 4 kobo per ordinary share of 50 kobo each be sanctioned, and that the directors be and are hereby authorized to pay same today, May 25, 2021, from the profit during the financial year ended December 31st, 2020, to members of the register of the company at the close of the business on May 12, 2021, subject to the deduction of appropriate withholding tax. Will somebody please second this motion? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Barrister. I now put the motion to the meeting. You may now vote using your voting device.
Against the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Since the voting of the resolution is now closed and the results have been declared, I would like to declare the resolution has been duly carried. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of directors. In accordance with Section 274, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 of the board, the board appointed Mr. Oluwole Ajemisimi and Mr. Chukwuemeka Obiago as executive directors on the board, while Mrs. B. Ekong was appointed as an independent non-executive director. The approval of the Central Bank of Nigeria has since been obtained for their appointments. The subsequent resolutions are for your approval to appoint them to the board of your company and of our bank. We now take the resolutions for the appointments one after the other. We will start with the appointment of Mr. Oluwole Ajemisimi. I hereby move that Mr. Oluwole Ajemisimi be appointed as a director of our bank, having obtained the approval of the Central Bank of Nigeria for his appointment. Could I have... Thank you, Mr. Badmos. I will now put the motion to the meeting. You may now use your voting device, please.
Just hang on until the board displays. Okay. You may now vote. Voting has ended. On the resolution to elect or approve the appointment of Mr. Oluwole Ajemisimi as a director We have 99.99% in favor of the resolution and 0.01% against the resolution. In shareholding, it's represented by 22,429,796,000 units for the resolution and 1,139,000 against the resolution. May I please plead that everyone with a device should vote? We have 10 people voting against 12. This is one here. So we have 11 devices issued out. We have 10 voting. One person is not voting. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Registrar. Thank you very much. Since the voting has closed and the results have been announced, I hereby declare that the resolution has been duly carried. Thank you. The next director for appointment is Mr. Chukwuemeka Obiagu. I hereby move that Mr. Chukwuemeka Obiagu be appointed as a director of the bank, having obtained the approval of the Central Bank of Nigeria for his appointment. Will the shareholder please second the motion? Chief, please. Thank you, sir. I will now put the motion to the meeting. You may now vote using your voting device, please.
You may vote now. On the resolution to approve the appointment of Mr. Chukwuemeka Obiagu as a director, we have 99.99% in favor of the resolution and 0.01% against. Represented in shareholding by 22,430,085,000 units of shares for the resolution and 1,139,000 units of shares against the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, registrars. From the results, I now hereby declare that the resolution has been duly carried. Thank you very much. The next resolution is for the appointment of Mrs. B.A. Ekong. I hereby move as follows, that Mrs. B.A. Ekong be appointed as the director of the bank, having obtained the approval of the Central Bank of Nigeria for appointment. Will the shareholder please second the motion? Mr. Okeze. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Okeze. I will now put the motion to the meeting. You may now vote using your voting device, please.
On the resolution to approve the appointment of Mrs. Ibie A. Ekong as a director, we have 99.99% in favor of the resolution and 0.01% against the resolution. In shareholding, 22,430,906,000 units of shares voted in favor of the resolution and 1,139,000 units against the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, registrars. From the results announced, the resolution has been duly carried. Thank you. The next item is the re-election of directors retiring by rotation. I would like to hand over to the Managing Director, the Chief Executive Officer, to preside over these business items in view of my desire for re-election. Thank you.
The director to retire shall be those who have been longest in office since their last election. Pursuant to the provisions of Section 251, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, Mr. Abubakar Lawal, a non-executive director, and Mr. Babatunde Kasali, a non-executive director and chairman of the board, will retire at this meeting and being eligible for re-election will be seeking re-election. The profile of the directors standing re-election are contained on pages 65 and 68 of the annual report. I'll move the motion for the re-election while a member seconds the motion. I hereby move that Mr. Abubakar Lawal be and is hereby re-elected as the non-executive director of the bank. Will someone please second the motion? I now put the motion to the meeting. You may now vote using your voting device.
On the resolution to re-elect the director retiring by rotation, Mr. Abubakar Lawal, we have 100% votes in favor of the resolution. In shareholding represented by 22,432,044,000 shares. Thank you.
Based on the results, I hereby declare the resolution carried. I hereby move that Mr. Babatunde Kasali be and is hereby re-elected as a non-executive director of the bank. Will someone please second the motion? Mrs. Kudais. Thank you. I now put the motion to the meeting. You may now vote using your voting device.
Thank you. On the resolution to re-elect the director retiring by rotation, Mr. Babatunde Kasali, we have 100% votes in favor of the resolution, represented in shareholding by 22,432,045,000 units of shares. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The resolution is carried. I hereby express the board's appreciation to the shareholders for the re-election of the directors. As as I now hand over to the board chairman to continue with the proceedings.
I would like to just say one thing. People take this thing for granted, but it's not. I've been to some boards where the shareholders can decide that they are not satisfied with the stewardship of directors. So on that note, I would like to express my appreciation for confidence reposed in myself and Mr. Abubakar Lawal and the other board members, and to assure you that we will not relent for the remaining duration of my tenure, because Mr. Nona always said, I use over 70. So I know he's sending a note of warning that don't come back over 70 and be reappointed. Mr. Nona, I can assure you. Yes. Both. So thank you very much for your confidence, and I'll move on to the next item of the agenda, which is the disclosure of remuneration of managers of our bank. Section 257 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 provides that the compensation of managers of a company shall be disclosed to members of the company at the annual general meeting. Accordingly, the remuneration of managers as disclosed on page 113 of the annual report. This is for the information of the shareholders. No, thank you very much. Can I have? Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Appointment of external auditors. Section 401, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 provides that every company shall, at its annual general meeting, each annual general meeting, appoint an auditor to audit the financial statements of the company and to hold office from the conclusion of that until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting. Pursuant to the above, the board hereby recommends the appointment of KPMG Professional Services as the company's external auditors in place of Deloitte and Touche, scheduled to retire at the conclusion of this annual general meeting. I hereby move that the KPMG Professional Services be appointed as the company's auditors to hold office from the conclusion of this annual general meeting. Could I have a shareholder to second the motion? Mr. Akilade, please. Thank you, sir. I will now put the motion to the meeting. You may now vote using your voting device.
On the resolution to appoint KPMG Professional Services as the external auditors of the bank in place of Deloitte and Touche, who would be retiring at the conclusion of this annual general meeting, we have 100% votes in favor of the resolution, represented in shareholding by 22,430,682,000 units of shares. Thank you.
The Thank you very much. I now put the motion to the meeting, please. You may now use your voting device.
On the resolution to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors, we have 100% votes in favor of the resolution, represented in shareholding by 22,430,935,000 units of shares. Thank you.
Thank you, registrars. From the results, the resolution has been duly carried. Thank you. Election of audit committee members. By section 404, subsection 3 and subsection 4 of the Companies and Allied Matter Act 2020, the audit committee shall consist of 5 members, comprising 3 shareholders representative and 2 non-executive directors, and shall examine the auditor's report and make recommendation thereon to the annual general meeting as it may deem fit. The board of directors has nominated the following non-executive directors as its representatives from the audit committee. 1, Mrs. Ibiye Ekong and Mr. Abubakar Lawal. Section 404, Section 6 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that nominations to the audit committee shall be in writing and shall be delivered to the company secretary at least 21 days before the annual general meeting. By the expiration of the statutory period to receive nominations from shareholders, representatives of the audit committee, only 3 valid nominations were received by the company secretary. The following shareholders were nominated in accordance with section 404, subsection 3 of CAMA 2020 to serve on the audit committee. They are 1, Prince Adekunle Olodu. 2, Mr. Ogbonna Joe Anozike, who is joining us virtually. And 3, Mrs. Osijo Omobola Esther, who is joining us virtually as well. Since there are no more than 3 valid nominations, consequently there will be no election. I hereby move that the 3 nominees be and hereby elected as the shareholders' representative in the bank's audit committee. Will somebody please second the motion? Thank you, sir. I said, yeah, the 2 gentlemen, Mrs. Ibiye Ekong and Mr. Abubakar Lawal. Thank you, Mr. Akilu. Thank you very much, sir. So I hereby declare that the resolution has been duly carried. Thank you, sir. Approval of directors' remuneration. The next item to be considered is the remuneration of directors. Your bank is required by law to seek the approval of the remuneration payable to the non-executive directors at annual general meeting. Shareholders will therefore be required to approve the total annual fee of 54,500,000 naira only for the non-executive directors for the 2020 financial year, and a certain allowance of 300,000 for the chairman and 250,000 each for other directors. The total annual fee is being reviewed from 33 million, chairman 6 million, others 4.5 million, which was approved in 2013. I would like to call on the shareholder to move that the director's annual fee for the financial year ending 31st December 2020 be and is hereby fixed at 54,500,000 naira at the rate of 9.5 million naira for the chairman and 7.5 million naira for each of the non-executive directors, and a sitting allowance of 300,000 for the chairman and 250,000 for other directors. can I have a shareholder, please? Oh, can I have this? Okay, say please. Thank you very much. I will now put the resolution to the meeting. You may now use your voting device, please.
Voting has ended. On the resolution to approve the remuneration of directors, we have 100% votes in favor of the resolution, represented in shareholding by 22,429,861,000 units of shares. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Registrar. From the result, the resolution has been duly carried. I would like to thank shareholders for the confidence reposed in us. Thank you very much. Resolution for capital raise and share reconstruction. The last item of the agenda is to pass the following subjoined resolutions as ordinary resolutions, with or without modifications in view of the board's aspiration to raise additional capital for our bank. Before I present the resolution, I will invite the Managing Director, CEO, which he has done earlier, to provide a big background on the resolution. And I think he has done that in the brief. So I will hereby move that below the subjoined resolution be and are hereby approved as ordinary resolution of the company. A, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to consider and recommend as appropriate steps to enable the bank to undertake a reconstruction of the share capital and to raise additional capital subject to the approval of the relevant regulatory authorities and to position the bank for future growth. And B, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to appoint, in relation to the above resolution, such as professional parties and advisors, and to perform all such other acts as do all other things as may be necessary to give effect to the above resolution, including without limitation, complying with the directives of regulatory authorities. Will a shareholder please second the motion? Thank you, sir. I will now put the motion to the meeting. You may now vote using your voting device, please.
On the resolution to undertake a reconstruction of its share capital and raise additional capital subject to the approval of relevant regulatory authorities to position the bank for future growth, we have 100% votes in favor of the resolution, represented in shareholding by 22,432,045,000 shares in favor of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, registrars. From the results, the resolution has been duly carried. Thank you very much. This concludes the businesses of today. I would like to thank our distinguished shareholders. This has been a family meeting as always. Frank, to the point. All the advice taken on board. And I wish you journey mercies, especially during this pandemic we are still coming out of, and for showing so much interest in your bank affairs. And jointly, we shall continue to proceed for better days ahead. I now declare the meeting closed. I will now call on Ms. Barrister Mrs. Ganiat Senior Bola to say the closing prayer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Let's rise for prayers. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for a good meeting. Accept our thanks in Jesus' name. We call on you when we are starting, and you dwell with us, and you took absolute control of every item. Accept our thanks in Jesus' name. We finish everything now. We are now proceeding to our various homes. Take us home safely in the name of Jesus. Be with our bank. Be with our directors and our management teams in the name of Jesus. Be with each and every one of us in the name of Jesus. Give us the grace to gather again this time next year if Jesus tarries. In Jesus' mighty name I've prayed. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a national anthem, please.
Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for Bitech?
Definitely.
All right, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the future of banking. Alert. Simple, reliable, and convenient. A smarter way to bank.
By the way, did I tell you about the 3 interesting customers I had today? The first to lighten up my day was this brilliant little girl. She reminded me of this young man who came in, determined for his sport. Just made me know he is going to be great. My last customer continues to uplift herself. It really is admirable. Perfect fit.
What have you been talking about since morning?
Don't you get it?
I'm here. All the way.
Sometimes you want something so bad. You work at it, and it just feels like it isn't working. What I have found out is the harder you work, the better chance you have at getting what it is you want. I remember longing for the days I could afford my essentials. I mean, I wanted luxury, but my essentials were priority. Patience, I have figured, goes a long way, even when it doesn't seem like it's for you.
From sundown to sundown, we go work the work together, yeah. 'Cause I'm always on time, people.
But as they say, good things come to those who wait. Right now, there's nothing that can stop me from being the best. I have worked hard. I have waited. I have my essentials. The world is mine.
For my mobile phone, nothing is sweet me past my 945. My 945. As you see me so, I dare full control with my 945. My 945. I dey recharge my phone, they check my account. I dey wire money, I dey pay my bills. I know they worry myself go queue for bank. With 945, everything done sempe. Whether na credit abi you wan open account. With 945, everything done sempe. If you want collect money, or you want transfer money. With 945, everything done sempe.
The 945 way of life offers convenient banking at your fingertips. Just dial star 945 # now to get started. Wema Bank, with you all the way.
Ever wondered how easy it would be if your bank was part of your life? Sort of like an assistant, a buddy, and a plug.
So this should be ready for Bitech?
Definitely.
Alright, let me see what this meeting is about. I'll hit you up shortly.
No problem. Alert, you there?
Always alert, sir.
I see what you did there. Am I up to date? What was that?
Your repayment has just been done. By the way, I found a cheaper ticket for your flight.
Awesome.
Should I pay for it?
Yes, do that. Also, schedule my run for 7:19 a.m. tomorrow. I missed it this morning.
Already done.
What else?
Grocery shopping. The list has been sent to your phone.
Perfect. Shall we?
The chicken is on aisle 7, so is the pasta and wine. Oh, what a pie.
Sweet, sweet pie.
I meant the one in a hand, sir.
I knew that. Anything else?
All done. Just get ready for your date.
All right, cool.
Welcome to the future of banking. Alert, simple, reliable, and convenient. A smarter way to bank.
By the way, did I tell you about the 3 interesting customers I had today? The first to lighten up my day was this brilliant little girl. She reminded me of this young man who came in, determined for his sport. Just made me know he is going to be great. My last customer continues to uplift herself. It really is admirable. Perfect fit.
What have you been talking about since morning?